Did you see an increase or spike of need during the pandemic this past year?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just to kind of tell you a little bit, I'm still a PA. Of course, I'm going to be a PA for the rest of my life. That's what I do. This is my career. But at the same time, how did I transition from going full time in the emergency room into running my business full time? And honestly, not only with the pandemic happening, at the time I had already gone from full time to part time. So there were, and this may sound weird, but there were layoffs of nurses, layoffs of medical providers. Doesn't necessarily say layoffs, but hours were cut, if that makes sense. So when that happened, that sort of opened up an opportunity for me on a personal level to pour more into my business. So I'm saying that to say, I definitely saw an increased need for a program such as mine. Prior to the pandemic, I was already virtual. So being that a lot of things, a lot of businesses, a lot of careers transition into the virtual world, a lot of people were home. So people were home, people were, we were, eating differently. Our lives became more sedentary. We were literally sitting in front of computers, 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, which of course that led to weight gain, increasing fatigue, increasing, in our anxiety, all those things started to happen. And a lot of the gyms closed, to be honest. I was going to the gym 3, 4 times a week and doing, my virtual home and everything, because that was an outlet that I enjoyed doing. So when those sorts of things started to close down or the hours were shut down, a lot of people were seeking, hey, I can do it at home by myself, but I really don't know how to do it at home by myself. So that's where I really saw an influx of clients moving into this particular virtual realm, as opposed to some of the other, I would say, trainers. They didn't necessarily have a platform already there to transition their clients into a virtual world. So that was a bit of an advantage on my part, I guess I should say.
So you hit the ground running because you already had some processes in place.
Right,
And
right.
would you say it skyrocketed? It just took off, or was it kind of a slow transition?
It was sort of a slow transition, only because we just didn't know what we were dealing with, to be honest with you. Even as a medical provider, hindsight is 2020. At the time, I would have patients where, I was treating them. This was prior to, all of the announcements about, this is what it is, COVID-19, that sort of thing. But, I had patients where, I would, run every test, flu negative, all these other tests were negative, but they were sick. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with them. Hindsight is 2020. And now I'm thinking, okay, that was probably, COVID then. We just didn't know that's what we were dealing with. So, and even when, we got the announcements that we were gonna, the country's gonna shut down for, 30 days or however many days it was, no one anticipated it being a year. Now we're going over a year now. So I'm saying that to say it wasn't like a skyrocket thing, like, oh, let me run to Too Easy Fitness or let me run to a virtual program. People, including myself, we didn't know that it was gonna happen like that. But once we started getting into month 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're like, wait a minute, something is gonna have to happen. So that's where I really started seeing it, the influx.